Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. Me and Benji just sub in, don't we? We just
I'm the
change each
constant.
time.
I'm the
James
glue
has
that
stepped
holds
in.
this channel together.
Yeah, pretty much. It has been a while since it's been a purely just me and Benji podcast, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah,
probably, probably because that's what the fans don't want to see. They
yeah, true.
they like me
Uh,
the most.
They come for you, James. Yeah, because the Punjab fans just come
Well,
for
yeah, my,
James.
my Punjab mafia, we're
Yeah,
holding this channel.
yeah. Anyway, uh, firstly, we'd like to thank everyone for their support on this channel. It's hard when it's not the IPL, let's be honest. But we've got the 2020 World Cup coming up and everyone's excited for it. So keep supporting us, keep subscribing, keep liking all those amazing things you're doing because it means a lot. Anyway, getting into today's game, which has set up the series beautifully, we saw a bit of a contrast. We saw Babar Azam with the slow start and acceleration at the end of his innings versus Phil Salt just smash it from ball one and see what happens, which I don't know about you, but that was more entertaining. But England managed to win to level the series 3-3. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it was a bit of golf stuff, wasn't it?
It
That,
was.
that batting was a bit of golf stuff, and I'm here for it. That's what I want to see from an England top order. Um, I thought, if we look at that first innings a bit, Babar Azam's knock was beautiful. He plays such good shots. He paces it so well. 87 off 59. That's just, that's exactly what you need, especially when everybody else did pretty naff. Like, who are the other good ones? Iftikhar Ahmed did all right. And Mohamed Nawaz, just hit a big six. That was pretty much all that happened, though. Everybody else kind of let him down. I think he missed his good mate Rizwan because
Yeah, that was a massive blow.
if Azam and Rizwan had batted together, that would have been it could have been a completely different story. But yeah, if you contrast that to the way that England batted, it was quite stark because straight from the first over, Salt and Hales were just swinging willow at it. But something I really did like, particularly about Phil Salt's knock, but just in general with all of the England batsmen, you'll notice if you look at the amount of fours compared to the amount of sixes, there are drastically more fours. And with the shots, a lot of them were actually safe shots. They were played along the ground.
Yeah.
And when you play cricket, you realize that actually, if you play a shot along the ground for four, you've given the batsman, you've given the bowling side absolutely no opportunity for a wicket there.
No.
Like it's chanceless, and you've just beaten them. If you hit it in
Well,
the air, even if it's a
yeah.
six, you've done well, but there's still that glimmer of hope that maybe I could get a catch though. So
Yeah.
it was very, very good from England, I thought. Um, I do want to talk a little bit, and I want to get your opinion mostly on England's bowling performance because I thought there were some glimmers of there were some really good points, and there were some kind of uh, points of concern. So I want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, let's start with the negative, which I would say is Ada Rashid's spin, because he's usually quite economical in 2020 cricket and he usually picks up a few wickets. I hardly ever see him not take a wicket in an innings. And maybe he was just having a bad day. I don't know. But I think the Pakistani batsmen like Adil Rashid. And I don't know if that's because in Pakistan, they have a lot of leg spinners. They face a lot of leg spin. So it's natural to them. Or whether Adil Rashid was having an off day. But I don't think he was as clinical as he has been. But I thought the rest of them were pretty good. I enjoyed watching the pace bowlers bowl, especially Richard Gleeson. I mean, he did get a bit of tap, which is probably coming from his pace, and he's not as experienced as someone like Mark Wood, who has started his career as someone who's getting spanked a lot in 2020 cricket.
Yeah,
And then has kind of refined it to be a very good, top quality 2020 bowler. Whereas Richard Gleeson's still finding his feet a bit. He's only just started his international cricket journey, I guess. But I just love watching him bowl. He's got this action which is unlike most typical English seamers, and it just generates this slingy pace, which is just it's good to watch. And I know you and Benji threw a bit of shade at David Willey in the last podcast, and I'm a David Willey fan. I am
You know
because
what? I do need to defend Benji on this one. Benji
okay,
is also a David Willey fan.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
throwing the most shade at David Willey.
yeah. Well, David Willey, he's as a power play bowler, he is good. We all know that. We
Hmm.
know he has the ability to swing the white ball in any conditions and against on any pitch. But he's also good throughout the middle overs. And he's bowled some good death overs in his career. I'm not saying he's good all the time,
Yeah,
but he's the sort of bowler who can bowl 4 overs. And I know that
yeah.
Moeen Ali didn't use himself today, and David Willey was able to bowl all 4. And I saw it with Royal Challengers as well, where he would only bowl the power play overs, and then there was one game where he bowled all 4, and he did all right. So why not? Why
Well,
not?
so my thing with David Willey, and I don't want it to be like a running thing that James hates David Willey. I don't at all.
That is definitely happening. That is the meme right here.
Hashtag it down below. No, I think that he's a good I think he's a good bowler. And I think when he's on song he does very well. However, I maintain that I do not think he is a very skillful bowler in terms of on his worst day, I don't think he's got the tools in his locker to react and adapt his game. I think when the batsmen figure him out, he just plugs at exactly the same thing and he can't change up what he's doing enough. He doesn't have the skilled variations to then cope with when the batsman takes the game to him. When he's on top, brilliant. And you know, in that situation, there's very few players that you actually want more because he does give it his all. And then he offers that bit with the bat like that. He's kind of that safety net at number 9 or number 8, where you're just like, oh, well, it's all right. David Willey can swing a bit.
Yeah.
So that's my honest feeling about David Willey. I don't want my name to be dragged through the mud.
And I do get your point though about Sam Curran being almost like a better version of David Willey, and he kind of proved that today with the ball in terms of having a better economy rate. Even though I think David Willey looked more impressive with the ball, even though he had worse figures. But I guess Sam Curran, he's a performer, isn't he? He likes the big stage. He likes to have a go. So
I also feel like Sam Curran's a bit of an enigma because he's quite slow. Like he only ever gets around sort of 80 mile an hour mark. Like for all intents and purposes, he's more on the right arm medium side of medium fast. But he's got good variations. And I think the fact that he's so short, maybe the ball coming from that low angle can help him. I know that's the same thing with Nathan Ellis. Like he's quite short and his front leg collapses. It means that actually the ball comes from really low, which is also a point of difference. Like you got someone like Reece Topley, obviously very high release point. Very low could be a point of difference as well, which could help. But yeah, I think main point of concern for me though was Adil Rashid. This is his third game in a row where he hasn't taken a single wicket.
Yeah,
he's been expensive the whole time, and it is really weird because Pakistan were starting to build up this reputation of not being able to play spin, and maybe it is the surfaces, but Adil Rashid he's looked quite ineffective, and also he's been relatively inconsistent, I've thought, with his lengths, which isn't usually something I associate with Rashid. And the one ball in the last game that seemed to be getting a lot of results for him, like seemed to be his most potent tool, was the googly. And I'm pretty sure I counted because I'm a cricket nerd. And he only bowled it like 2 or 3 times in that whole innings. I can't remember how many times he bowled it this time, but you know, either way, I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to toss it up outside the line of off stump, and he's trying to get those get those top edges and miscues. But it hasn't worked this time, and I just hope he gets it back because we need him to be in good nick for the
Yeah,
World
yeah.
Cup.
Yeah, there aren't many. When you look at 2020 leagues around the world, I know Adil Rashid doesn't really get picked up either. He gets picked up in the Big Bash, but there aren't
The South
many.
Africa T20 as well.
Yes, he did. And I've always been calling out for him to get an IPL deal. However, there aren't that many English spinners, if any English spinners. There's a few. Liam Dawson, who's played in this series, Danny Briggs, who get picked up in the 2020 leagues. There aren't many spinners who do that for England. And so that kind of shows how little spin options we have.
Mm.
Um, Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid have been our best spin options for the last 10 years. And someone needs to take over. The question is, who's that going to be? Is it going to be Matt Parkinson, who has obviously not been judged as good enough for international cricket? So, yeah, we are missing that. So it's a
Maybe
bit of
like
a
a
shame.
Mason Crane, somebody
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
kind of coming through. He's a bit of
yeah.
hope.
And he's had international experience as well. So there's definite options. We can't rely on David Milan and Liam Livingston, can we, to offer that leg spin?
Oh, David Milan's eyes. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. But going back to the batting, England's batting in particular, what happened today is what we've been crying out for over
Mm.
the last two 2020s, because the previous two games, Pakistan have put up average scores. They've not been massive scores. And it was, I reckon, at the halfway stage, both times it's been England's game to lose, and they've lost it. And the reason is because they've lost too many wickets in the power play.
Mm.
And the reason they're doing that is exactly what you said. They've been trying to play the massive shots when they don't need to. And the placement of Phil Salt and Alex Hales, and then David Milan coming in, was awesome. It was awesome to watch. I think it was David Milan or Ben Duckett, one of them, hit back-to-back boundaries off Shadab Khan, and they were just beautifully placed through the offside. Like, it was
That was
just,
David Milan. I
yeah,
was
it
going
was
to
just
say,
awesome.
I think David Milan, at least in the England side, because I know if I say in the world, I'm going to get absolutely rinsed in the comments. But for England, David Milan owns the cover drive.
Mm, yeah,
It is it's got to be his number one scoring area. It's an absolutely beautiful shot that he plays. And yeah, like I think he played like 3 or 4 pristine cover drives for 4
yeah.
before he was given out LBW to an absolute stinky wicket, a grubber from Shadab Khan that's kept
It
really.
was it was the worst review
Oh,
I've ever seen. Why
that
would
was
you
a
review
shocking
something that's
review.
hitting the bottom of middle stump? I mean, come on. But yeah, Hales as well. I mean, what we saw today is what we want to see from Hales. He's the reason he's in the English team is because it's absolute brutality from ball one. He got to 27 off 12. And if he'd kicked on for another 10 balls, right, that's the sort of reason you pick Hales, because he'll last 10 balls and score really quickly. And then if he keeps going, you know you've got a massive score on your hands. And especially when you've got Phil Salt doing the same thing. I think they're kind of trying to do the same thing because they're both fighting for one position.
Yeah.
And then you've got David Mallet. Ben Duckett, I don't know what you think about him, but he's kind of just come into the England team and said, I'm the number 4 in a weird way.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't think he'll get picked though, but
No, I
he could.
mean, unless there's injuries, I don't think he can get into the actual T20 World Cup squad. But I'm a big fan of watching Ben Duckett play against spin. It's
Yeah.
something I really enjoy. As much as I enjoy watching David Milan play cover drives, and as much as I enjoy watching Baba and Rizwan play cricket, I really enjoy watching Ben Duckett against spin. I think
Yeah.
he's got all the tricks, like all his reverse sweeps and sweeps that he plays second to none. And yeah, he's been very consistent. I'd like to see what his stats are at the end of this series, to because I feel like he's had to play the understudy a bit to Harry Brook.
Yeah, he has.
Like everybody else has had an outstanding knock, and Duckett's been just that kind of consistent, getting 30s and 40s at a strike rate of 150, which is absolutely brilliant and exactly what we want. But I feel
Yeah.
like he'll fly under the radar a bit.
Yeah. I think he will fly under the radar despite him being a good player. And Ben Duckett, there's been talk of him potentially being in the test team. There's that sort of talk going around as well.
Yeah. Well, he
So
has
he's
very good red ball form
yeah.
for Nottinghamshire, who
Mm,
Division 2 champions, back up to Division 1 in the
yes.
county championship. What you love
Big
to
up
see.
knots. But
Yeah.
I think the point is that I'm trying to make is that you've got players coming through like Ben Duckett, who is he is getting old, but not too old yet. You've got
I think he's only 27 or something.
oh well,
He's
there we go.
actually way younger than you
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Harry Brook as well,
Mm,
who suit the Bazball mold because they're players who can play all formats
mm.
and play them well and be effective in all of them. And that's quite exciting because for a while, the last few years, England have had almost different teams. And I think you need a bit of goodness in both, don't you? You need a bit of
A bit of
variance.
goodness.
A bit of goodness is what you need. There you go.
No, I absolutely agree, and I think the future of English cricket is looking up, and I am very excited for this T20 World Cup. And thank you so much, Pakistan, for leaving out Haris Rauf and Mohammad Rizwan for this game, so that we can have a really good decider. They've done it for the good of the series, I'm sure, because they've been their two best players. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm pretty
Uh,
happy about that.
what this game kind of gave me some memories to another 2020 World Cup game, which happened in 2000 and something. I don't really know what year it was. Maybe someone down below could say it. 2012, maybe. But anyways, between Ireland and the Netherlands, and Ireland scored 189 for 4 in their 20 overs, a respectable 2020 score.
Very
And
good.
the Netherlands chased it down in 14 overs. They scored 193 for 4 off 13.5 overs,
Oh
with
my.
their top scorer getting 63 off 23 balls. So that game was brought back to me today based on England's performance. So let's have
It
more
was,
games like that.
yeah, you know what? All I want in life is Netherlands v Ireland.
Yeah.
That's the kind of cricket I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very good game, and I can't wait for the decider.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Like we said at the start, please subscribe. It helps us out. We're looking to expand. We're looking to get some interesting people on this podcast, not just us. But we can't do that if we only have a few subscribers. So we need to show that we're actually not terrible. So please help us out. Leave comments down below. We love knowing what you think. We love interacting. You can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM, and some more that I haven't mentioned. You can follow our social medias. We are at Cricket Nerds Pod. And other than that, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you later.